I need to preface this with a very brief channel update. So we promised the viewers some content from Gum, but as you probably realized already, this channel's no longer named Gum and Sin. The reason behind these changes I had to make is that we had a falling out and Gum decided he no longer desired a friendship. And two people who aren't on speaking terms can't exactly carry on a business relationship. I refuse to say much on the subject except that the reason he and I can no longer have a friendship is that we both have certain needs that the other couldn't fulfill. I needed to be treated as his equal, and he needed me to be okay with sweeping our issues under the rug. And that's perfectly fine that we can't agree on that, but because neither of us were willing to compromise on those issues, we're no longer friends. That means a few things for this channel, the first being all of the content that I've been producing will remain the same with no alterations in how I've been presenting them in terms of personality. Also, I'm not restricted to waiting on somebody else to contribute to the channel, so I can post as frequently as I want and whatever types of videos I want. Aside from that, he will not be appearing on this channel ever, so for those who were excited to get something completely new and different, I apologize, but it's not gonna happen. This is my channel, and I poured hundreds of hours into all of my videos, and this was literally the last straw for me. I lost thousands of views when I had to rebrand, I lost hundreds before that when the other 2/3 of the Super Triforce Bros forced me to remove any videos that they'd been a part in. I'm not gonna put myself in that position to lose all that hard work ever again. That being said, I still have plans to include guests in my videos, as well as doing collabs with other YouTubers, so it's not all bad. Now with all of that out of the way, let's get to some monster hunting. Monster Hunter is, well, fairly niche, one of Capcom's best and best-selling franchises to date. It came as no surprise when their announcement of Monster Hunter World received critical acclaim. And how could it receive any less? A Monster Hunter game released for consoles for the first time since PS2, and with current-gen specs nonetheless. It was bound to not only improve on its predecessors, but impress its fan base as well as a lot more people. Gamers galore hopped on board the hype train because, let's face it, an open-world game filled with tons of customization options, dozens of monsters, and big-ass weapons to swing and shoot at them, you'd be either crazy or a non-gamer to pass that up. I personally dumped around 40 hours into the 3 beta tests that they released over the course of 9 days in total. I was hyped to the max for this game, which is ridiculous that it had such an effect on me considering Dragon Ball FighterZ was releasing the same exact day, and my experience with Monster Hunter was disappointingly limited. But to even my own surprise, when it came launch day, I put aside getting fighters to get Monster Hunter, and I don't regret it a bit. Sure, I love fighting games, but I love open-world action RPGs even more. Everything in this game shines with the love that went into crafting it, from monsters new and old, to sprawling enormous landscapes, even to the most minor details in how weapons are used. It's nothing but obvious that the team that worked on this not only loved their jobs, but loved the series as well. Each and every monster is unique and special in its design, combat abilities, and specific gimmicks. Every weapon is viable in capable hands, and there's never any one weapon that is hands down the best. Only the best for whoever's playing. For example, in the beta I played around with the Greatsword, Insect Glaive, and Longsword, and I really liked the latter too. But since the game's release, the only weapon I've used in the 80 hours I've played is the Longsword because I just get it, and I enjoy it. So if someone were to ask me, what is the best weapon in your opinion, I would be guaranteed to say Longsword because I click with that weapon, I know how to use it well, and it just feels right to me. For a long time, I believed that Dark Souls was the pinnacle of gaming, that no series could outdo it or I could sink more time into any other franchise, but I didn't put 80 hours into Dark Souls within 6 days of its release. Monster Hunter simply offers a great deal of content to its players. You could spend hours fishing or gathering ammunition for your bowguns, hunting smaller creatures for materials, capturing wildlife to then display in your personal home, or hunting larger monsters to continue the story. I'm definitely not rushing it, so while I have finished all of the story quests as of last night, it took me 83 hours and 7 minutes to do so. I see no reason to not take my time. This game is absolutely gorgeous, and I truly enjoy being immersed in its world. Also, I'm a bit of a grinding maniac. I live for the grind of all types of RPGs. Why rush it and spoil the fun? Which is another topic, pacing. The game never forces you to take quests that you aren't ready for. You can always replay every quest you've completed, with few exceptions such as special arenas, which require you to capture monsters to unlock and recapture once you've completed it. You're never forced into hunting a monster you just can't handle. You always have the freedom of hunting whatever you want at your own leisure. That is excellent game design. Whereas games like Dark Souls and Dragon's Dogma force you into accepting that you're never ready for the next step, that the next problem thrown your way is bigger and badder than the last, Monster Hunter enables you to tackle the bigger and badder once you feel you've prepared enough. Which I might say there are times where you simply cannot prepare enough. A few times I was stuck on specific story quests for well over a couple hours, even after having grinded for my level 7 rarity armor and 8 rarity weapon. So while the game allows you to progress at your own pace, there are instances that hardcore gamers thrive off of. The immense difficulty that any true gamer will dedicate their lives and souls into overcoming. Another thing I absolutely love about this game is the diversity. From the literal dozens upon dozens of weapon and armor sets, to the different monster types, even the specific locales and sub-areas of each larger area, everything about this game screams diversity. You'll never get bored because at any minute, you can switch up the weapons and armor you're using, the location you're playing in, and the monster that you're hunting. You're never stuck using, playing in, and hunting the same old. You can always change it up any which way you want to. In my last video on the series, I had some major complaints, that the final quest of the beta was simply too difficult for new players. And while I don't disagree with what I said in that video, especially since at the end I state that I was just being hard on the game because frustrations, I have to say they did a really good job smoothing the difficulty transitions. Very rarely have I felt the game take a massive plunge towards difficulty spiketopia. And when I did, it was usually because I hadn't prepared enough. I was in a rush to see the next big baddie and I didn't give myself enough time to adjust to the difficulty curve. That changed a lot when I grinded for hours for high tier armor and top tier weapon, but I still don't feel overpowered. Sure, I got better gear, but the game was designed to keep you from feeling too powerful. Certain armor upgrades are story locked, certain weapon paths are the same. You can't get gear that the game doesn't want you to have until you've proven yourself worthy, and that in and of itself is a really neat concept. All in all, Monster Hunter World is the best game that I've played in a very long time, and I dare say that it's the best game of the past decade. No game has offered such a smooth transition where progression is concerned, the sheer amount of diversity in player options, and such unique enemies to fight and weapons to use. Honestly, this game is my #1 game of 2018, and the year just started. This is just the first of many, many Monster Hunter videos. So until next time, I'm Sinister, this is Sin's Project, and thanks for watching.